Okay, welcome to Warhammer Painting blog number 3. I've had a couple of questions about my bases and how I do them, so I'm going to show you all how I do them. It's going to be kind of a step-by-step thing. It's going to be probably not great, but I mean, you'll probably it's pretty easy to understand than me just writing it down. So the first thing you'll need is a piece of cork like this. It is from a DIY shop in the UK, from B&Q, so anybody in the UK can go to B&Q and get it. But any DIY shop, hardware store as it is in America, anywhere that sells these sort of flooring tiles, they're actually meant for kitchens and bathrooms. So a word of advice: there's normally a choice of two. One of them's a sanded one, which is this one, but there's also a glazed one. I've never tried that one, but I've got a feeling that it'd be perfectly smooth, so you won't get any texture out of it. So there's two sides on it. There's a rough side here and a sanded side here. So first thing you need to do is you need to cut out a piece of cork to the size you want. Now this cork isn't particularly thick, but what you can do is you can cut out one piece and then trace around it and cut out another, and you can get a stack as tall as you want, really. But that's how I get it. So what I'll do is I'll cut out a piece and we'll cut to me actually starting to paint it. So until then. Right then, I've cut out this piece here. Actually, it's an offcut from another project that I did. As you can see, it's not really rock shaped, but it will show you what the steps are. Here is the smooth side, and here is the rough side. Right, depending on what type of texture you want, you paint on either side, really. If you want a smoother rock, you paint on this side. If you want a slightly rougher rock, you paint on this side. Right, I only need to use, you can do any colours you want, but the colours I use to get my grey rocks that you've seen in the video so far, is the first one is a black ink. Now that's to actually paint the first coat, and so you can use normal black paint, but the ink makes it go quicker, so I can paint a lot quicker with the ink because it flows a lot better and there's a lot of pigment in it. The next one is Codex Grey, which is the base colour for the rock, really, and then a Skull White, which will be the highlights, and that's pretty much it. That's only those three colours we need. So the first thing you need to start off with is you need to cover the base in black ink. Just a quick, as you can see, it goes on very easily, very smoothly, and doesn't take long to cover it. You do this on the top and the sides, and it goes it goes on just as easy on the sides as well. As you can see, just make sure you get a lot on your brush and just splash it all around everywhere, and make sure no matter which side you're painting, you leave a piece bare, because it make it easier for the glue to go in. So as you can see, I'm painting the very top and I'm leaving the bottom bare. So I'm going to finish painting this, as not to bore you, and I'll be back once this is finished completely painted in black. Right then, now I've painted it completely black and it's completely dry. As you can see, all sides are now painted. I'll move on to the grey next, and pretty much all you do is completely cover the top in grey again. Now it doesn't matter so much if you leave a bit of black showing through, but try to cover it. But you know, don't be picky about it. Pretty much just an even coverage, make sure it's all roughly the same colour. Now this step here can be changed for any colour, same as every other colour really, but just make sure you start with a very dark colour to begin with. Now it's completely grey. The next thing you do is a very heavy dry brush, so don't get rid of as much as you paint on the sides, and try and make sure as much of this is grey as possible. Not much black showing through apart from the very deepest cracks, so keep going back and forth on the same piece. And that's pretty much it for the dry brushing on the sides. As you can see, it's now completely grey on top and grey on the sides, but with bits of black left. So I'm going to finish this bit and come back to you with the final step. Right then, pretty much the final step now is the white, which is probably the hardest step of the lot, because you've got to make sure you get the right amount of white, and all you do is dry brush really. Start off very light, because you can always add more paint. The place I like to start is on the side to get an idea of what the paint's like. And make sure you dry brush it reasonably heavily. But it's all down to personal taste, this part. So there is no right and wrong ways of doing this really, it's just all personal taste, as I said. Now, as I said, just make sure you start off very light, and you can always add more paint later. So this rock is dark in general, so you don't add as much to it. So some of the other grey rocks I did, I actually painted the whole thing grey completely, no black whatsoever, and just went straight to white, and that makes a much more lighter rock. But there is no set rule to what you have to look like. So just carry on going around like I've done now. I've painted all the sides now. You move on to the top, which is pretty much more the same, but make sure you get really light this time, because the sides you can go over again, the top you don't really want to have to start painting over again. And all you do is you choose one way and then just go over the top. Now it's very light, hardly any paint at all, and if you need to add more, you add more. But it is, I don't know whether it's picking up on the camera, but it is adding some colour to it. And just make sure you lighten the whole thing first. Go over the whole thing, just rub it in, and it makes that grey slightly lighter. It doesn't actually make it white, just makes it a slightly lighter grey. And then you go over it again, and you just keep adding layers on top of layers until you're happy with the final result. So it's all a case of what you want it to look like in the end. And well, that's pretty much all there is to say about it really, is you just keep painting and painting and painting until you end up with the rock. And the best thing about this cork, as I said, is it's only sanded and the texture comes through very slightly and shows up. And that's pretty much it really. So it's a very dark rock, this one, but as you can see now it's completely dry brushed. Doesn't matter if you got like white spots here, it just adds a bit of character to the rock, but make sure you got this texture showing through. That's pretty much when you know you've got the right amount of dry brushing done, when that texture shows through. But it's about 5 or 6 goes with a dry brush to get to this point. So like I said, you can go over the sides again to make them even whiter if you really want, which I'll show you now. And it adds a bit more whiteness to them. You'll be surprised by how light it finally does get. Just keep going over and over, and that's pretty much it. I'll show you the stuff that you can put on top of this as extras, and that'll be the end of the video. So until then. Right then, that's pretty much it. Hope it's been helpful. Here it is, completely finished. It looks a lot better in the light. It looks a lot lighter. As I said, it's pretty much an experiment really. You know, get yourself that cork I got. I got about 10 of those tiles for £10, which is $20, or probably find it even cheaper. I just went to the first shop I saw and that was it. I bought them. So yeah, that's it. The stuff you can add on top is things like, I've got these tins here, which is for putting in food and that, but they work well for holding stuff. So again, this one is kitty litter, which is what I used, and I said you buy a big bag and well, it would last you a lifetime really. You just pick out some stones that you want. Like you say you want this one here, which is just pick your way through and find one that you like. And as I said, all you do is you dust it off, give it a quick dry brush with a white or whatever, and that's pretty much it. So add that, and then you can either add static grass or any of the other stuff. So hopefully that was helpful, and that was it. So I've got one more video to upload, and I've actually finished a model, so that'll be going up soon. And hope this was helpful, and thank you.